I really love Google Maps for getting around, especially when you're traveling. I couldn't have imagined it 20 something years ago when I first came to Thailand, how convenient it would be to have this online resource that you can use anywhere and everywhere. You know, when I was first here, I used to use paper maps. That was all that was available. But I don't think I ever found two paper maps that were identical. They all seem to have some differences and some unusual things going on. But Google Maps has helped us get beyond that, and it is such a fabulous resource that I thought I'd make a bit of a video about it and include some of the quirks, particularly when you're traveling in rural areas in Thailand. We live in a rural area. We've got our homestay, Suansok homestay here in a rural area, and we've had some pretty interesting comments from people when they've arrived recently saying that Google's taken them down some kind of odd roads. So today I'd like to share with you some tips, some fun, some education about using Google Maps, not only to get to Suansok homestay, but whenever you're traveling, particularly in rural Thailand. I've come out today to have a bit of a look around at some of the places that Google Maps will take you if you're coming to Suansok homestay. We've had a couple of guests turn up recently and they've told us that they've been taken down some pretty obscure little roads, so I thought I'd come and check them out. I've had a look at Google Maps and this is one of the roads that it's telling people to turn off after hitting the 1009 road to go up Doi Intanon. It tells you to make a left down this road here. And when I looked at it on the map, I thought, wow, that's pretty interesting. I know this road. I don't think you'd be driving a car down this way, but let's go and have a look what we can find out. Here's the map that Google showed me, including the dark blue line, which is the recommended route. Sometimes it's a little bit longer than some of the alternatives, but then one of the alternatives is even longer. But let's have a look to see where we are. So if you're coming down from Chiang Mai down the 108, you're coming into Chom Tong, and this is the view that you get on Google Maps Street View. You'll hit this intersection here to turn right to go up the 1009, which if you keep going will take you to the summit of Doi Intanon. But if you're coming to our place, you're turning off before that. You'll come through one more set of traffic lights shortly after, and then carry on another short way up this 1009 before hitting this intersection here, which is Google's suggestion for coming to our place on a slightly shorter route than the dark blue line. And the road starts out pretty good. It's a nice road, it's paved, it's fairly clear access. It looks like there's, plenty of life down here. There's some orchards, sure, but there's other bigger buildings. It looks like it's reasonably built up. And then as you slowly start winding through, it starts feeling a little bit more rural and a little bit more maybe off the beaten path. And as you might expect coming down a road like this, the further it takes you down, the further from civilization you might start to feel. And you'd be right too, there's not now much down there. There's still got power lines, there's power poles and power lines down here, so there's some signs of life somewhere. But not many houses. There's a few houses dotted along and the road seems to be getting narrower. I got to this bridge here and I'd seen this, I've been down here before, but I'd seen this was one of the points on Google Maps on Street View that you could see. But then coming to this area around here, it seems to be where the Street View ends. It doesn't actually go all the way down this road. There's still a few more houses down here, still some signs of life, some people about, but then the pavement ends. That's the end of the concrete road. So I'll just keep going straight, and it's narrowed seriously. So coming down here on my little scooter, it's okay. But if you're coming down here, say in a rental car or a nicer vehicle, you might be starting to get a little bit concerned about, well, maybe backtracking and how on earth are you going to find a place to turn around down here. You've just got not many options. There's one there, but I'm starting to think, have I followed the right direction for this route on Google Maps? I stopped and asked this guy where the bridge is, and he beckoned up in the other direction. It's just come down to a dead end where there's a few houses down here. Looks like a few local workers live down here. And in northern Thailand, in the rural areas, no one's ever going to get upset at you. They're just going to be curious as to why you're down that way, and if you ask or if you're not sure, they'll point you in the right direction. So I'll turn around, backtrack up here, and see what I can find. It's like now I'm wondering if I should have taken that side road, but no, I looked at the map again, looked at my GPS on my phone, and headed back, and then took one of those roads that headed off to the right. That was just in this area here. So you can see that there's a little built up area there. There's some houses marked on the map on both sides of the road here. It kind of gets very narrow. I'm not sure what this is, and I'm certainly not going to make much progress heading into an empty field at the end of the road. So whether I'm on the correct route or not, I'm not sure, because it's certainly not leading me anywhere helpful at all. It's going in basically the right direction. I can tell that by looking at the mountains, but if you don't know the look of the mountains, if you don't know the view, if you're not from around here, you're certainly not going to be able to look up and know that you're heading in the right direction. You're going to keep your eye on the road, and if you keep your eye on this road, you're going to know for sure that you haven't headed in the right direction. So again, I'll backtrack and try another road or another track, another dirt track, another gravel track, to see if it's going to take me to our place. So just heading back up the same way, back on to the paved road again, because they seem to be the safest. I've generally found using Google that the Street View car doesn't map the gravel road, that doesn't travel down the gravel roads. So if there's no Street View available, it's possible that it's been a gravel road that the car hasn't travelled down. So I'll just stop again and have a quick look at my GPS to see where the next roads are. I'm not so much looking at the blue line anymore as to just the map itself to see the roads and where they'll take me. So I've just had a look. I'm going to have to travel back a little bit and then take a road that's to the left that looked like a turn off, but looking at the map it seems to be the main road. Rather than following the paved road, it's directing me to turn off the paved road and onto the unpaved road. So I'll just check the map again, check my GPS again, and follow through this unpaved road. It seems fairly wide. It actually seems wider than the paved road, and it looks like it's been reasonably recently travelled. It looks like it gets a bit of traffic down here, so hopefully this will take me to where I need to go. And the main concern getting down here, getting into this area where I'm travelling downhill, is that I know at some point I'm going to hit a canal, and I'm also looking for the river, the Glung River, that I'm going to need to get across to get to our place. But before I get to that, there is going to be one or two irrigation canals that I'm going to need a bridge to get across to. So let's see if travelling down here brings me to it. I'm feeling a bit more hopeful. This is looking a bit wider, and it looks like a road that's a bit more travelled than some of the other unpaved roads that I've just visited. So let's see what we can find down here. So I'm definitely heading in the right direction. I know that by the gradient heading downhill, and that I'm heading in the right direction for the view of the mountains to what I'm used to, but it's looking narrow. Okay, here is the main canal, and I'm used to this road down here, and I know this one from the street view because it shows up when I'm coming along this road that's now cutting across left to right. But the map that I'm following tells me to go straight ahead, and that this will lead me to a bridge across the river, and maybe there's another canal to cross as well down here. So here's another bridge across, looks like a canal. Looks fairly stagnant, doesn't look like anybody's using it much. And the road ahead doesn't look like it's particularly well used either. Had a bit of rain recently, it's fairly muddy there, and it just again narrows right off into this farm track here. So I'm not sure if you'd be so keen again to bring a rented car down here or to bring your own nice car down here. On my scooter it's fine, but I don't think it's the intended way. But looking at the Google map, this is where the light blue line for this route that I'm following is taking me. It's directing me down here towards a crossing, towards a bridge over the Glung River. And I'm extremely doubtful that I will find anything other than, well, I've got the river, but that's all. There's no bridge here. I think the map is indicating that the bridge is a bit further down. It looks like the river may have gotten a bit wider here recently with the flooding that we've had. It looks like that bank's been washed out on this side, just on that bend, and the road's looking a bit dodgy there. But just again, taking another look at my GPS to make sure I'm heading in the right direction, and it is telling me that this is where the blue line on the map intends me to go if I want to follow my way to Suinsuk Homestay. So I'll carry on a little bit more, just for the sheer adventure to see what's down here, but I doubt very much that anybody with anything other than a four-wheel drive or a motor scooter is going to want to find their way along here. Even if you've got a four-wheel drive or a motor scooter and you're not used to this sort of area, if you're coming to stay with us at the homestay, it's highly unlikely that you're going to be trusting the map at this point. But just out of curiosity, let's go and have a look. I haven't been down here before, so I'm just interested to see. I have been on the road that runs along the canal that we just crossed, and I've been along the road on the other side of this river, but you could hardly call this a road. I can see there's some people down here, there's some farm workers down here sitting in the shade, giving me a funny look just as they're wondering what on earth this foreigner's doing down here. Looks like they've just harvested or just have been ploughing. Nothing to see, certainly no bridge, certainly not much of a road left. So it's a lovely spot down by the river here. It's peaceful and certainly an interesting ride, but something's not quite right here with Google Maps showing me down this route. I certainly wouldn't want to drive a car down here. I certainly want to find out if there is a bridge here to take us across the river, but first let's go back up to the main road and select one of the other roads that Google is suggesting. This is now another road further along from the initial left turn that I made off the 1009. So now I'm taking another left off the 1009 down towards the direction of our homestay, and this is another road that Google is suggesting that you take if you're coming to stay. Let's have a look to see if it is an alternative viable route to take when you're coming to Suinsuk Homestay. And heading down in the same direction, but it looks like a wider road, it looks like a more major road. Nice straight wide road, heading in the right direction. not many signs of life around. There's power lines running down here, so that's good. And I've seen on the map that there's a big monastery, a big temple down here, a big meditation centre, something like that. So I guess that's why this stretch of the road is so well kept and nice looking. And you can see here just the general area that I'm travelling in. It's very rural, there's not many buildings around, but definitely heading in the right direction. Up and over the hump, and then now starting to head downhill again, past some buildings here, some sort of business there, and a few homes down here. And certainly feeling, yeah, this is a good sized road, it's well kept, and there's the entrance to the temple meditation centre just there. And past that point, as I anticipated, the road has narrowed, it's become a concrete road rather than a tar sealed one. There's no centre line anymore, and it's significantly narrower. It's just another rural country road where there's barely enough space for two vehicles to pass. There's an intersection here that I'd seen on the map, so I thought, okay, I'll keep following around to the right where the map directed me to. Down past these buildings here, some sort of a business tucked away down here, and around, and it's looking like I'm losing my concrete road. No, it's back again. But certainly feeling like it's getting very much out into the farmland. The electricity poles, the power poles and the cables have disappeared, and it's very much taking me into a rural area without any houses, without any buildings, and the road does not look like it's travelled particularly much. There doesn't seem to be it doesn't look like it gets very much traffic down here at all. A few places down here, signs of life. So let's keep going, let's have a look to see what I can find. It's very beautiful. And we've lost the concrete again, it's back onto a gravel track. Let's see what's down here. It's certainly getting a feeling very much like I had on the other road that I've just experimented with, that you're going to be fairly adventurous if you wanted to be bringing your car down here if you're hunting for Suansuk homestay. If you're coming to stay with us, then you're going to be, at this point, I guess, getting a little concerned about where the map is taking you. But these are routes that visitors have told us that Google Map takes them on, heading towards our place. So, okay, this doesn't look like it's going anywhere. The road on the map says that it goes straight through here, but there's a gate there and it looks like it's into private property. So another turn, another U-turn, and I'll have to head back again. Have a quick look at my GPS again, and it certainly says that it's down this way somewhere, but let's see if there's another one of these little side roads that'll actually get me through and around to where this road tells me I should be going. But I can't get down there because it's private property, it's got a gate on it. You can't see anyone around, otherwise I'd ask them, but I don't expect that if you're using a GPS and Google Maps that you should have to stop to try and communicate with locals. Not very easy when you don't speak their language at all. I speak some, but in this area most of the people speak very rural northern Thai, and I find it still quite difficult to understand. Never really a problem, there's always lots of smiles involved, and sure, the people are keen to help you out, but when you don't speak enough or don't understand enough of the language, it is a little bit challenging sometimes, to say the least. But again, backtracking, because the direction that Google has shown me on the map isn't really that helpful. I'm pretty sure on this road, on the street view, you can actually see it. but it runs out again when you hit the gravel. So when I came off the sealed road, the Street View option for Google Maps was not there. It disappears. So it's actually difficult to know if I am in the right area or not. So again, backtracking and going quite a ways back, because I think I need to go down this road here and see if I can make my way further down towards the canal and towards the river again. And as I said before, the key thing here is finding the right road, the right location to get across the canals and across the river, because I know that there are bridges, but it's a matter of being able to find them from this direction when you're coming from the 1009 road to our place. So again, still on the concrete road, it's still sealed, so that's looking positive. Feeling good. Looks like I'm getting a bit further this time. Certainly a nice ride. It's very pleasant when the weather's good and it's a nice afternoon. But you know, if you're travelling and if you've been on the road for a while and you're a bit tired and you're not quite sure where you're going, getting into roads like these is can be a bit challenging, a bit sort of testing on your patience, I find. Here we have another angle that I do find on Street View, but once I get across that little bridge, it turns to gravel tracks again. So it's really, this is the way that Google's showing me to go, but from here there's no more Street View. So you can see the little canal there with the blue line with the Street View ending at this point. So just double checking my GPS again to see which way Google wants me to go. I'm guessing it's either right or straight forward, but no, it's telling me to go right. So let's have a look. Okay, so at this point, if you're driving a four-wheel drive, pop it into four-wheel drive and hope for the best. But I don't think you're going to be coming too far down here. Look at this. This is lovely. But not particularly helpful if you're looking to find Suinsuk Homestay when you're coming to our place. So it's just one of those things where it's just not quite right yet. The Google Maps are absolutely fantastic. I don't know if anybody much would find our place without them, so we're really grateful they exist. But somehow their directions are kind of a bit wonky, and we have actually contacted Google about this. We've messaged them. If you are looking at the Google Maps, there is an option down in the bottom right corner of the map to leave some suggestions or to make comments. So we've actually made comments to Google in the past, and in one situation they have actually amended the map. There was a place just very close to us that said there was a road that joins up to our road, and it doesn't, and we'd had a couple of people that had headed along there and were not able to access the road from the way Google had told them, and so we let Google know about that, and they very kindly have amended the map, and so that's fixed that problem. But now, just in the last little while, it seems that it is now indicating roads like this to travel down to get to our place. So I'm hoping that they will change these again quite soon, but really just don't know, because we let them know, we've messaged them a while ago, and I haven't heard anything back from them yet. So I just keep checking the directions every now and again, and as best we can, we let people know before they get here as they're making the bookings. And sometimes the directions that Google Map might suggest are not always as accurate as they could be. The key thing is, if you're not sure about the map and where it's directing you to go, check to see if there's actually a street view of the area that you're in. And if there's no street view, it means that the Google car has not been down there. And this is a pretty good encouragement that you probably shouldn't go down there either, because if the Google car's not been down there to record the street view, turn around and find the paved road again and check the map again, and choose roads for yourself, maybe, rather than following the route that Google suggested, or go back out to the main road. So if you can't see the street view, turn around and head back out to the 1009 and pick up that main suggestion that Google makes using the dark blue line, because if you look at that one on Street View, you'll see that the line for Street View follows that road all the way through to our place. So I'm back up to this turning now, this little bridge over the canal, and back onto the paved road. So now I'm going to backtrack along this paved road and see if I can find my way across before going up to the 1009, just out of adventure and interest, see if I can get across to the road that Google is suggesting will take me across the Glang River. So I just stop and check my GPS again to have a look at the map. Not so much the suggested roads, but just to see what roads will connect me with the point that Google is showing that I can cross the river. And I do know where that point is, it's just that I've not accessed it very often from this side of the river. And again, this is just taking some back roads and heading along, just because I can, because I'm on an old scooter and I'm out for a bit of an adventure. Not suggesting that anyone should come adventuring down here in a nice rental car or anything like that, but it's highly unlikely that many people would try it. And I've got a sneaking suspicion that is taking me to the road that I came down initially. And certainly looks like it again. So this is the road that had the that showed that I could go through, but it's not, that it ends up into a dead end because it's private property. So again, I'll look at the map again and see what I can see, but have to turn around and go quite a way back up past this business here and find my way through to cut across to the road to the north of this one that then will take me towards the west again. So I've got to head quite a long way back, closer to the 1009, before I can cut across. But here it is here, it's pretty rough, but I know this road here, I've been along it once before, I think, quite a long time ago. But this will take me through to another road that heads down towards the river. I know that this road here, I have had customers tell me about it because they told me it was coming down quite a wide gravel road that looks like it gets a fair amount of traffic, but it's not sealed. And if you're following your nose, if you're smelling the air, you're probably wondering where it's taking you, and that's because it's taking you past the regional landfill site. So not a great road to choose to come down if you're on vacation and wanting to see the sights. It's, hello, this is where the landfill is. Back to the paved road again, but fairly wide, reasonably good condition, but not fabulous. But you're going to be wondering what on earth you're doing coming to Suansock Homestay down here. A bunch of dogs on the road and what have you, but keeping on coming. You've lost the sealed road again. And here I'm just trying to remember which is the right way to go, the road that Google is suggesting. So I'll stop and check the GPS again and head on to this fork that branches off to the left. It's fairly narrow, gravel again, but so this is the road that's taking me to the point where Google suggests that I'm going to be able to get across the river. It's not the road that Google has marked in blue as a suggested way to get to our place, but it is going to take me to that point because that road, the suggested road, doesn't bring us through here. It ended up in that dead end. So there may have been a road there in the past, but there's certainly not anymore. So I'll just keep finding my way down here. I think I'm getting pretty close to where the river is, or where the canal and the river are. It doesn't look like there's many people or much traffic comes this way at all, but it's the right location for where the map shows that there is a river crossing. And I do know that there is a river crossing down here, but if you're driving a car, it's possibly not going to be what you're hoping to find. Indeed, it is definitely not going to be what you are hoping to find. Now I'm back at the location where Google would lead me if I could actually get past on the route it was suggesting. And this is the crossing where we can get over the Clung River. So let's see how we can do that, and if you could do it driving a car. So I've actually often come this way. I haven't come down here for a while, but I did come down one day after the flooding to have a look to see what effect it had, and this is the crossing over the river. This is a weir that is quite comfortable to take a motorcycle or a bicycle across, but you're certainly not going to fit a car down here. And even at the moment, I'm not sure how far I'm going to get on the motorcycle, because along here they've had some flood damage recently, and this track was damaged. It was washed out, but it's fairly well used, so I think it's possibly been repaired, or maybe. Yeah, there's a bunch of sandbags down there. I'll see if I can navigate my way through. Let me see how far I can get. It certainly looks like it's open again. There's been people coming down here by the looks of it, but it's fairly narrow, fairly rocky and bumpy. Let's see how I do on my little scooter. Slowly, slowly. Safety first. Just work my way through here and along here carefully. I don't want to end up down in that ditch, but you can see the flood damage there. But most of the track's intact, so they've patched up the areas that need patching up, so life goes on. Certainly a bit more overgrown and a bit rougher than it was before. And this sort of opens now up onto the big valley of rice fields where I come for a bicycle ride in the morning. It's just down in the valley below our home. So we're nearly there. But again, if you were to check this on Street View, you're not going to get a view of this, because obviously the Google car cannot come down here with its fancy little camera. So the key is, when you're using Google Maps, don't choose roads that the Google car hasn't driven down, otherwise you might end up places like this. Let's go back to the first suggestion that Google made and see if we can find the river crossing the bridge from the other side. So now I'm across the weir. I've ridden along to the point on the map where Google has indicated that there is a bridge that I couldn't find from the other side. Even looking with the drone, I couldn't see it. But this is the road, this is the other side of the river that Google tells me that I can cross using the bridge. So let's go and have a look down this gravel track. Again, the street view doesn't come this far, it stops up where the concrete road is. This is the road that Google has suggested that is on the other side of the bridge that I couldn't find. I've come across, went down further across another bridge, came back again to the location that is supposed to join up with this bridge. This is the first crossing that I looked at that we couldn't find, and it's not looking particularly positive. I don't even want to bring the bike down here, but I know the river's here. And it looks like it's flooded a bit since the last time I was down this way. This is the spot at this road where Google says there's a bridge, but there's not one there. It looks like there might be a bit of a track over there, but nothing much more, or maybe one more there, but there's certainly no crossing here, there's no bridge. And I guess the moral of the story is that if you are following the map and you cannot use the street view, then don't go that way. Especially if you're driving a car or a bigger vehicle. If you're on a motorcycle, well, sometimes you might be able to get past. But the safest thing, I think, is to stick to the roads where street view is included, street view is possible. So if you can see that the Google car has actually been down that road, then there's a much better likelihood, in fact, it would be certain that you can go that way and get through. Whereas if there's no possibility for using the Google Street View to see a location, then stay away from it. If you're in rural areas like this, there is possibly not going to be a road there at all, or it might be just a track for motorcycles. So with that little bit of information, let's go now and have a look at the easiest way and the safest and the best way of getting to Suansuk Homestay from the main road. Now I'm back on the main road again. This is the 1009, a bit further down. And this is the direction that Google gives using the solid blue line most of the time. Sometimes that solid blue line does take you down one of those other roads, but you're looking for this turn off here with a bunch of signs there. If you notice too, if you're sharp, you'll notice there's some concrete llamas wearing hats just as you make that turn. So looking out for that, that's advertising a little place that's just down here. You come on down this nice road down here, it's quite picturesque, quite beautiful and calm down this way. Especially if you're coming down in the afternoon, you've got to be a little bit careful at some times of the year. You'll get a bit of sunstrike down here as you're coming down to this corner, but it's a nice wide sealed road. And as you're coming along here, you'll start to see a few buildings, a few businesses here, and then you'll see some cows grazing on the side of the road there, concrete cows there opposite, outside the small farm, little petting farm there. And then coming around, if you're visiting during the rice growing season, you'll be welcomed with these lovely fields of rice looking beautiful in the sun in the afternoon. And then just carry on along this road, the view opens out again to the more rice that's there and the views of the mountain. Quite lovely. Yeah, come down here fairly slowly because most of the local traffic moves pretty slowly. You've got lots of little side roads and houses at points down here. You've got another weir on the river just to the right there, and then you'll come down around the corner here by this building and across the nice big wide straight bridge across the Monglang River that will take bicycles and motorcycles and cars and trucks and all kinds of vehicles, and then head into the village of Monglang. And so just keep on following the road along and around the corners, around the twists and the turns, past the homes and the businesses of Monglang. and then through the main part of the village. And there's plenty of little shops down here to stop at if you want to pick up something to eat or drink along the way, and to bring to our place at Suansuk. And then come around as you approach the main temple here. There's a fork on the road. Take the right and head up the hill all the way along. It's looking very rural, but the road's still paved. And then as you get to that top of that steep little rise here, you will see the sign pointing down to Suansuk Homestay. So take a left, drop down onto this little narrow road, and you will find us down here after a couple of 100 metres. Following the road with the canal on the right hand side, and here we are at Suansuk Homestay. You're most welcome. Thanks very much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please check out this video next if you'd like to see more of this wonderful neighbourhood that we live in. Cheers.